I am a cold black, level head researcher. I worked on a project for a top secret government black site. What I'm going to tell you, or whoever is left of the incident, what I found and seen after I came to. It was a normal day in Sector 5 like always. I had been checking in with the maintenance and security detail like always, making sure Project Phantom was going well without issue. And just like any other day, there was nothing of interest to report. It wasn't until around 2 p.m. roughly that there had been a report of a containment breach in the section where the test subjects for Project Phantom were being held at. This, of course, was supposed to lead to a full site lockdown and media blackout, but it was too late. Once the test subject had either caused the security detail and researcher to kill themselves, or they got ripped to shreds by the order was given to nuke the site before they could breach the entrance. Little did we realize they already had planned their escape with the help of the site command under the control. It was pointless to fight back, for the slaughter was immense. Most of North America seemed to fall within days as they spread, causing a full lockdown in and out of North America. Of course, you have me, one of the mere survivors of the carnage. But how? I couldn't really tell you, as I'm sitting here now looking through Emma's personal log. She's the head supervisor of Sector 4, our neighboring sector, of course. This is a log that I can share with you, whoever is out there listening to this. Log 43, date 22/09/2045. Personal log of head supervisor Emma Clev. Authorization level black. You may be wondering how I'm writing this. The world as we know it anymore has went ass up, but you might already know that, if you are possibly still breathing. I'm going to just say this now. Whatever you do, whatever you feel, do not trust the Atlas program, no matter what you must run. If they've seen you, it may be sadly too late. Okay, enough of me rambling. The outbreak of people's hearts stopping was sudden. Just in an instant, someone's heart could stop, or someone would just kill themselves with no meaning. Atlas, of course, was the corporation under pressure for doing experiments on people attempting to make criminals have a change of heart, so they could be released back out into society. At least that's how it was supposed to go. After many failed experiments from Research Section 5, the project was supposedly called off by High Command, yet everyone knew. At least us in the other sections knew barely that once Section 5 was deemed a lost cause, there would be many cover-ups about the containment breach of what can only be described as the horrors that came out of Section 5. With my clearance, it didn't take much digging around to find out the truth. Well, as much as I can tell you for what the truth is. That is, if they haven't already gotten to me. Essentially, Atlas was working on a program to make what they codenamed Phantoms. They were going to be, from what I understand, weaponized soldiers that could be used to make undetected changes or stop someone's heart by the means of which I couldn't find under the lockdown and redaction of information past what I had seen. Anyways, they plan to use these Phantoms to push their control and iron will onto world leaders and countries everywhere. It was all going according to their plans until they started to kill off anyone who didn't obey their will. People started to kill themselves, or just drop dead. It was awful, yes, but not as awful as what those things, Phantoms, turned into. They were just normal humans at first, but over time, oh god, over time, they started to degrade and transform into things, monsters if you will. They lost all facial features. They had grown claws where their hands should be. Their flesh hardened into a black obsidian-looking material. Some did stay human. Those are the dangerous ones though, because they are smarter and way more docile than the turned ones. And yes, so far, hiding in my office, no one has found a way to kill them. Hiding in here myself will be the end of me. Please, just run if you can. It may not do any good since they can kill you without you even knowing it. But if your mind is clean and you have no wrongdoing, they can't get you. That's why the innocent have survived. Repent for your wrongdoings, and they can't touch your heart. They may be unkillable for now, but if the ones that are left stay pure until the time that we can find a way to kill them. As for me, I'm going to run for it. Good luck to whoever finds this. The log ended there. I thought to myself as I reached up and moved my hair from my discolored face. I knew they were out there. They had taken my family, friends, and my lover from me. I had repented from my sins beforehand, and made peace with these so-called phantoms. Yet I still cringe at the fact that I couldn't do more to help those that I loved. But that is the past. I still thought to myself, picking up my bag in my hand, getting up from the desk that I was seated at, and making my way to the busted-in door. Peeking outside both ways just slightly before, I made my way down the corridor to a red metal blast door marked Section 5, Level Black, in black above the metal doors. Pulling out the card that I had taken off the body of the dead section commander from the room before, I swiped it across the card terminal. It lit to life, exclaiming, "Clearance accepted." The doors shuddered to life and parted from one another. The smell of rotted flesh and blood of the decomposing corpses hit me like a wall as I walked past the death laying on the ground below me. My shoes squeaked from the wet blood still fresh on the ground as I made my way down using the facility map to what would have been the original holding cells for the Test 0 subjects. The door, of course, was bent and mangled badly. Me being me, I peeked inside and I looked around. The room was dim, barely lit by the backup security light. All I could see was the holding cells for each test subject. Each of these cells were busted open. It didn't look like it was very hard for the subjects to escape. I moved my head from the door, stopping to listen in the silence. Nothing, I thought to myself, as I kept walking, moving further down the corridor to a sign on a metal blast door that read, Sector 5, Control Room. Swiping the keycard that I had picked up again, the door barely moved but sprang to life and opened. Walking in, I looked around and it was dark inside of the room. Of course, it was only lit by the backup security lights. I made my way over to a terminal and clicked to power it on. Surprisingly, it sprang to life as it made noise before firing up. Seemingly, it was still logged into Session Command's profile, as I went through clicking on a few files before I found what I was looking for. The file simply read, Phantoms Update. After decrypting it and bypassing the security measures, the file finally opened. The contents were as followed. Project Black. Names classified. Date, December 9th, 2045. File issued by Site Command, Alex Johnson. All tests have been going according to plan for now. It seems the test subjects are getting along well for the time being. We have made great improvements in their abilities to manipulate reality around them, giving them the abilities to stay undetected and kill their target with no detection whatsoever. I can see big breakthroughs and high praise from the higher-ups once they are notified of the amazing progress that we have made. The test subjects are to be subdued and sent out for field testing later this month. The higher-ups want to make sure that they are ready and obey the commands that they are given before they are set free for real use in the world. I will update this more once we have further progression or inquiries. Thinking to myself, what the heck could have possibly went wrong? I started clicking on other files. No luck though, as all files after or before that had been heavily corrupted by the encryption, or by the Site Command issuing a full site wipe and scramble of information. Noticing this and cutting the losses, I stand up from the desk, making a move to the main terminal in front of me. What it said made my blood run cold. Movement detected in Sector 5. Origin unknown. I made my way to the door. I felt something funny. I felt happy. Everything went black after that. All I could remember after being dragged along the metal floor of the corridor, before stopping and looking up to find 3 men in black suits. One spoke up and said, "Welcome, Alex. Care to join us?" In shock, I peered up at the man in the middle of the two, his face almost non-existent. I managed to stutter out, "No, you can't be them. Why are you here?" Without making any sort of movement, the figure in the middle replied in a slightly delighted tone, "Why, of course. We're here for you, Alex. We've looked far for you. We must cover all our loose ends after all." At the end of its sentence, the figures moved towards me, their claws now showing crimson blood, dripping from them as the light reflects off them as they reach out for me. "No!" I exclaimed as I pushed myself back up to my feet, turning slightly and running down what seemed to be an empty corridor. If memory serves me right, I thought to myself as I ran past 3 bodies mangled and the flesh ripped off them. I made my way up to a security checkpoint. Checking the map over, I see past this was the main transition area, between the restricted levels and the main floor of lower level offices and the back gate of the facility. Many thoughts raced through my mind as the doors parted with a thud once open. I picked up my bag and made my way down the seemingly endless corridor. The walls splattered with blood. Bodies laying scattered, either mangled or torn to shreds, or the bullet-riddled ones who took their own life. Looking up, I could see the door in front of me locked down with the text above that read, "Office block, main entrance zone." I take the keycard and I swipe it across the scanner, as it buzzed to life and a beep was emitted as the doors opened, revealing more bodies. Some of the people who had cut their throats or shot themselves. Others are ones who were hung by their entrails from the lighting fixtures. I bent myself over gagging, and almost throwing up at the sight and smell of decaying flesh. Knowing that I had to though, I pushed on, moving the corpses out of the way, as I made my way through the ground littered with them. I finally spotted the door that led to the entrance zone, as shown by the sign above it. The door had been beaten so hard by something, the frame seemed twisted and mangled, as the door itself was split open. Crawling my way under, I peered into the lobby. It was the same story here too. Blood and corpses littered the ground. But I heard something. More like someone crying, looking around. I spotted a man, most likely a researcher, standing in front of the reception's desk. "Are you okay?" I asked quietly, afraid to speak too loud. He responded in a low, sad voice. "You shouldn't have came. This is all your fault," he exclaimed at me. "What do you mean? We can get out of here together, just please calm down." I shouted it now, but not too loud. He replied in a low voice. "This is all your fault, you people from Section 5. Now, why do I feel so happy?" And before I could even react, the man reached over and grabbed a nearby gun from the holster of a dead security detail. He exclaimed frantically, "They have shown me the messed up world that we live in. Only death can bring me peace for my sins." And just like that, he fell to the floor after pulling the trigger. His blood and other matter was sprayed freshly onto the wall, as blood pooled around him. Damn it, I thought to myself, as I walked up to the security checkpoint at the gate, swiped the card across the card reader for the main gate. With the event still fresh of what just occurred, I leaned myself against the wall to regain my composure for a second, before walking out of the security office and peering at the now open doors in front of me. I held my breath as what in front of me was more than just a sight-wide thing. I fell to my knees in disbelief, looking out to a city that was once beautiful, now covered in flames. The sky darkened and I knew what had to be done, and I had to keep moving. I reached down and I picked up my bag, settled for a moment to regain my composure, and stood in front of the door again, ready for the onslaught that beheld me.